Alright, well, if you can't tell, it's pretty wet out here, so of course the smoker's giving me problems, but we're over here at hive number 3 for a routine inspection, and hopefully this doesn't go as I'm thinking it might go. So hive number 1, pretty strong colony and had a ton of bees in the hive, because if you can't tell, it's overcast. We got some weather moving in. This is not the ideal time to be inspecting your colonies unless you want to experience the full force of your colony, meaning most of the bees are in the hive and they will let you know very quickly that they do not want to be bothered. But nonetheless, I'm out here inspecting number 3 for a weekly inspection. It is Sunday, June 14th, probably about close to 10 o'clock now. The weather's right at 70 degrees, which feels good. The humidity's pretty high, but I'm out here because it looks like the next week is going to be nothing but rain. So let me grab some more fuel for the smoker real quick, just in case this hive is or does become agitated. I did some tree trimming not that long ago, and although it's kind of wet, it's also kind of dry too, so we'll see. And speaking of number 3, I can't remember if they have a marked queen or not, so I'm just gonna have to take my time on each frame as if the queen is not marked. Most of the hives have a marked queen at this point, thanks to the handy tool that I've shown in several previous videos. And I just got done marking hive number 2's queen for the first time. She's been very elusive for the last few weeks, but she's marked now. Alright, let's see how this goes. Just going to take a peek at the super. Not really expecting too much, because the weather has really slowed down the colonies from capping a lot of the nectar, but they're still working it. So I'm going to give them a few more weeks. My plan is to harvest towards the end of the month. Hopefully the weather starts to dry out and maybe it gets a little more hot than it has been, so the bees can actually start curing this. See how long the smoker lasts like that. That's nice. Alright, if you got a queen excluder on, it's always a good idea to check the bottom side of it, because you never know where you'll find her. She doesn't appear to be there. And I think the camera's okay at that angle, distance. Yeah, I cannot remember for the life of me if I've marked this queen or not. So I have found some queen cells in previous hives. Some folks ask if it's still swarm season or not. And basically until July, until the nectar flow is over, I'd say it's probably a good idea to check your hives weekly, just in case you have a hive that does want to swarm. So this is frame 3 and they already got some nice brood. Let's check. Always checking for the queen, because you never know where she's going to be. Alright, I don't think she's on here, but they do have, yeah, they have eggs. Very easy to see eggs when you have comb that's fairly new. Let's see if I can point them out. Right down here, you should see some eggs. That's a very new bee right there, very dusty. Capped brood, some pupated larvae, looks like little grubs. But if you trace the larva back as it gets smaller and smaller and smaller, I said that in a previous video as a tip. You can find eggs fairly easy that way. Alright, so frame 3. Nice brood. And I also found that if you move 2 frames out of the box, it gives you just that much more space to work with. I keep having to remind myself to look at the queen on every frame because I cannot remember if she's marked or not. And small queen cup on the bottom. I don't see an egg or a larva in it. So that's frame 4, nice brood. So this colony definitely has a nice laying queen, as you can see on this frame as well. There's some very, very new bees, very dusty looking. But yeah, pupated larva throughout, capped brood, obviously surrounded by honey and pollen, which is very typical. Nice brood on this side as well. Yeah, this queen's doing a really nice job. It'd just be nice to find her. Just start of a queen cup at the top left there. I don't see an egg or anything in it. So that's what, frame 5? Frame 6. It's got a whole lot of commotion going on here. Yeah, she's doing a nice job filling in almost every available cell. Yeah, I've had spotty luck over the last few weeks with finding queens, so I'm almost to the point where they're all marked. And let me show you this real quick. You can see it from the side. That's very odd. Maybe that's the beginning of some drones because it's raised up, but as you can see, the flat capped brood right next to it, and just the fact that it's not capped yet, I don't remember ever seeing anything like that. Some more new bees. They really stick out when they're very lightly colored and dusty looking. Just really want to find the queen, like usual. There she is, and she is not marked. And where's she gone? There she is. Okay. Gotta have some patience. Oh, you know it's not helping? Actually, you know what? Well, that kind of worked out. So I had the plunger pushed up. I forgot to move it down from the last colony. The plunger was pushed almost all the way up, so she didn't really have much room to crawl into that part of the catcher. So, but that worked out. All right, so we got the queen. Let's get her marked. Push this thing up. Right, give her some more room. Nope. Turn around. It's good enough. And I can show y'all, maybe. Hopefully that comes up. There you go. Now she's marked. That's simple. Just release the plunger so she can crawl around and dry out, and you can set her aside. So now I can check the rest of the frames, and as long as I don't find any queen cells or anything like that requires me to do something, I can get everything put back together. She'll be dry by then, and we can release her. I didn't think she was marked, but again, I could not remember. Okay. No queen cells, meaning no swarm cells, no supersedral cells, so basically things you don't want to find this time of year. At least, you know, that's my perspective. So, let's get everything put back together. Yeah, she's doing a nice job laying. Nice frames of brood. Alright. Let's watch her be released. And I think she looks a little eager to get out of here. Here we go. And there she goes. Between frames 6 and 7, I believe. Alright. They are definitely queen right, and she is marked. And that is how simple things can go, right at 14 minutes. Alright, there you go. Hive number 3, routine inspection, queen right. They have a marked queen now. Nice brood patterns. They're still working the honey super. That thing could be a little heavier than it is, but, you know, beggars can't be choosers, I suppose. And that does it for this week. If you haven't done so, please subscribe to the channel. And if you hit the bell, you'll receive notifications of future videos. Let's see how the front entrance is looking. It's a whole bunch more bees than when I started. I don't think I showed y'all, but the front entrance on this colony, number 3, there is no activity. And that is very typical for post inspection. I think they just try to get out of the way because, you know, the box is being opened up. There's a whole bunch of light coming in. They don't really know what's going on. So they're just trying to, you know, escape some sort of danger. Okay, that does it for this week. Tune in a few weeks for the follow-on inspection, excuse me. And later this month, I should be removing the supers, or around maybe the Independence Day holiday. But yeah, that does it. So Hive number 3 is looking pretty good. Thanks for watching, everybody.